info. We had a lot of activities happening around the country today. Firstly, we there are a lot of talks about politics now. Wherever you go in the streets of Monrovia, everybody's talking about who this person going to endorse or who that person is going to endorse. We know that there were some major activities today. For instance, we know that the outspoken and tough talking lawmaker of Nimba County, Representative Larry Yonkwe, today endorsed His Excellency the President. But also, we are seeing this evening that I think about 10 organizations, youth organizations of different political parties in the country, are also endorsing the re-election bid of His Excellency. So quite a number of things to talk about this. So I'm ecstatic.
So let's go to you, Daniel. Good evening and welcome. You practically don't need much introduction.
It's a brand new day and the dawn of the new month, November. We're highly elated to be here today. It's important for us to note that Liberia is anticipating the most talk about world of elections. And like Bwaka said, there's been series of endorsements here and there, some highly significant and some are still currently ongoing. So our responsibility is to continue to provide people with the updates as it relates to national happenings and drive them in the directions where they're informed in making decisions that are going to inform development in our country. So I'm highly, very, very overwhelmed being back here today, and I hope and pray that we can have a very wonderful time together.
Exactly. A spirited conversation awaits. Let's go to you, TT. Good evening, and how are you doing?
The only gender. Eve daughter.
Okay, so now we say the own agenda. I like it because nobody talked about, all of the hundreds of women who endorse, the vice president today.
In fact, that was one of the things I want to talk about. It kept coming to mind and then fading away.
Actually left it for to talk about it.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Say that it wasn't
Actually left it for to talk about it.
We'll talk about
They were
it.
talking about all of the things that happened today, but that's a big.
No, he actually left it for you to talk about.
That's not true.
No, I left it for you to talk about.
No, but in all fairness, that is quite significant to have. So we apologize, but frankly, it did come to mind initially when we were talking about it, but then it faded away. Some of the times those things happen.
Yes.
No, but it was quite huge, quite significant,
Yeah, we'll
and I
talk
think
a
we
lot
should
about
dedicate
that.
quite a number of of time to
course.
talk about it today.
Of course, but it's good to be here again. For me, life itself it's something to be thankful for.
Yep.
So, and then the first day in the month of November, we talked about October 10 elections, and we were praying for October to come, and then look, here we are in November,
Yep.
the 11th month of
The year.
the year 2023.
1 month ago.
It is only by His grace, and so we're grateful to God for that opportunity, and we believe that as we go through this month, His guidance will be upon our lives and
Exactly.
upon the country. So today also we will play host for a while to George Luogon. He's the spokesperson of the National CDC Campaign Committee in Nimba County. We will hear from him what's unfolding on the grounds in Nimba County as we go to these runoff elections. I think it's very, very important. And for maybe a few minutes, we will speak with Presidential Press Secretary Asolo Kebe. He will tell us what the endorsement from Larry Yonkwe. Larry Yonkwe is the chairperson of the CPP Legislative Caucus. He endorsed President George Weah's presidential re-election bid in these runoff elections, and that was done alongside Melvin Agape, who also ran in District Number 8 and came third.
Okay.
We know that Larry Yonkwe did not retain his seat, but he came second in the elections, and we all know, how powerful and tough talking
He has the command of the people.
Larry Yonkwe is, and so
And he's very scholarly.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so we watched him talk today. We listened to him talk today, and we will talk about some of the things he said.
Yes.
We'll speak with Asolo Kebe, presidential press secretary.
So that is it. Open conversation has a trend. We've already introduced our guest for tonight, but let me just stroll you with some of the things we also are trending as well. Senator Emmanuel Nukwe and Senator-elect Nathaniel McGill of Margibi have decided to unite forces to canvass the president re-elections in Margibi. So that is a boost. You know the weight of McGill in Margibi and Emmanuel Nukwe as well. So, but one of the trending issues today is over 10, like Baka already said, over 10.
No, let's stick, I beg your pardon. Let's stick with what happened in Margibi County today. Let's talk a little bit about
I was just trying to stroll and.
No, let's do it one by one.
Okay.
When we come to it, we just talk about it
Okay,
and move
okay.
on to another
All right,
thing.
all
I
right,
think that
all
would
right.
be great.
Somebody just sent me a message. Daniel, I'm following you and you're busy. Please also talk about the first lady also received endorsement from market women
Yeah.
on behalf of the
Yeah.
president. So,
That's true. That's
so Hassan, thank you for reminding us. We're going to talk about it. Thank you very much.
Yes, so like there are a series of endorsements, individual endorsement, collective endorsements, and all of that. So we would start with you, Baka. What do you make of such a monumental and significant impact happening in Margibi between the two senators?
What I think, initially, so we talked yesterday about the fact that this election, there are a lot of surprises. First and foremost, some of the times you would think just because the electors are voting for a particular legislative candidate, you would have thought that they will vote for the presidential candidate. But the same as if, that wasn't quite the case this time around. So maybe there were some loose ends that needed to be touched. But one of the things I can tell you is that this second one is going to be absolutely different as far as the CDC is concerned, or the ruling party is concerned, because all that we're beginning to get is that the mode of reaching to the electors this time around is not going to be, we're not going to be doing it in the herd form, big gathering, big rallies, and all of the different stuff. There's going to be surgical movements, tactful interactions and all of that. We're going to penetrate the community. CDC has one of the largest number of auxiliaries. So those auxiliaries are going to be put to work in the different communities. So the collaboration you see, they were just re-energizing, recommitting themselves. They've always been united. These are two people that have committed to support His Excellency the President. So what you saw today in that picture was basically a recommitment that we need to do more. So, Senator-elect McGill has been all out there, mobilizing Margibians. We also saw Nukwe joining the joint forces today to reach out to the different communities in Margibi. But we also know that Kalasco, for instance, who's also from there, has been changing minds. He met, in the last couple of days, he's met quite a number of youth who supported previously the Unity Party. So this is significant because Margibi has the fourth largest population of, fifth largest voting population. So after Monserrado is Nimba, after Nimba is Bong County. After Bong, so Margibi has the fifth. So Margibi and the votes are separated. The Unity Party from the CDC was just about 6%. So it was 6%. So that can be flipped, that can be turned around because quite a few things happen. Some of as much as we try to discourage it, but it happens quite a lot. You heard Snow mention that yesterday, which is voter trucking. So the legislative candidates, many of whom lost, some of them won, but that's done. They transported people here, there, yonder from different places, and we can tell that most of these different candidates that were transported were either independents or opposition candidates. So naturally, they will oppose the ruling party. So when they were taking people from different parts of the country, they were basically telling them, "Go vote for me and don't vote for the president," and stuff like that. So, but they wouldn't be doing that this time around. So the dynamic is going to be absolutely different, and that's not just for Margibi. The dynamics will be different for Bapolu, for instance, which we had a statistical tie-in, because it was essentially very close. The same with Kidman. Kidman also was almost a statistical tie. Just a couple of hundred votes are divided both parties. So where there were significant difference, For instance, in Bumming, I think there was a huge percentage of difference. The senator did commit yesterday to working those loose ends, and that's why I was telling you that this time around, the engagement is going to be different. If you notice, the National Elections Commission declared the period of campaign open. None of the political parties have gone out with big crowds and big gatherings and all of that. What we're seeing instead are major engagements with stakeholders, but also engagement in the different communities and all of that. So I think Magibi, the collaboration between McGill and Nukwe, the two leaders of Magibi, going to be it's going to be a huge difference.
So let's get your perspective on this, Daniel. What do you make of what's happening in Margibi?
So thank you. I'd like to start by saying that these rollouts are, basically on the basis of mentorship, political mentorship. Unlike the many candidacy you saw that reflect, on the different ballot papers that people had to make a decision. So what is happening in Margibi right now is the fact that there are two prestigious leaders that are now leading a new wave of political campaign activities in Margibi. McGill from one end and Nukwe, so the Nukwe from another end. These are two people that have mentored a lot of young people in Margibi County. And owing to the fact that they're working together to harness one goal, is a big, moment for, the incumbency. Because the people of Margibi, have enjoyed the many different opportunities that has come to the table by these two, these two leaders. Senator Nukwe, on the other hand, has been one of the major, contending face of Margibi County. He's worked exceedingly hard in terms of, bringing the county together, harnessing developments in different parts of the county. On the other hand, Senator-elect McGill has also played a tremendous role in that county. He's been doing a lot of work specifically with young people, especially the first-time voters. I think there are many times, there were occasions when McGill went to Margibi County, and you saw the number of young people that came all out in the numbers, be it school, going, students, people from the marketplaces. I mean, they were able to connect with Senator McGill in a way that they listened to him. So the runoff that we're going to right now is a dimensional, or how you call it, a mentorship that people are going to look forward, look at the leaders, the decision these leaders are going to be making, and what these leaders have done in the different counties. So that union that is currently taking over Margibi with McGill and Nukwe is something that has been long anticipated, and the results that we expect to have coming out of there is very significant. And these are things that people must, in county campaign activities, you need to have people that the ordinary people see themselves in. Politics is more like I see you, like I see myself, and because I see you, I believe in you, and I can follow you. So McGill has laid that basis. Nukwe has also laid that basis. So you will find out in the like I said, there's going to be a magnificent flip in the issue of votes in that county. 6% during these last elections. I mean, that's not much as compared to the level of work that has been combined and jointly done by these two people. So at the end of the day, you come to realize that the results that are going to be emanating from Margibi County is going to be something that is not going to be surprising, because in union, success is sure.
Right, good.
Exactly.
And not only that, but just to add to what you've just said, those two men came together today, and they had majority pastors
Correct.
of Margibi County. And these pastors, I watched the program. That was a huge number. It tells you that if the men of God in Margibi County are saying we stand with you, then it means their congregation stands with
Exactly.
McGill and Nukwe, which is very good for the CDC.
Yeah.
It tells you that whatever happened during these elections in the first round, it's most likely, especially with what Kalasco is doing there, is most likely to change. Because I heard, Senator Nukwe tell the pastors that you guys, are together with us in this. And as long as you stand with us, you must make sure that the message reaches your congregation.
Correct.
Because we have come openly to say we support and you've joined us to say you support the re-election bid of President Weah. In the event where President Weah doesn't win these runoff elections, you know what it means for our county. Standing with a president who didn't win and you have another president, it would give us a lot of hard time.
Open silence.
And our county would not benefit if President Weah doesn't win. So you have to get all out there. So he charged them also. So they have a duty to perform.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a very, 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 it was a, colorful program today.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what it does is that it also will have a sense of recalculation. Like Walker said something, the issue of the voter trucking, it played a significant role in the first round of elections. So in the second round, these things wouldn't be observed. So there will be a different atmosphere. The next thing is that it will bound the McGibeons together, because there are a lot of people throwing out political support for McGill and the senator, and they see these both, two coming together on a single front to support the re-election bid of President Weah. Then it tells the different supporters that if these people, your leaders, can come together, unite, and support the re-election bid of President Weah, then we need to do the same thing. So it's going to create a whole drum of unionism in Markibik County. So it's going to have a flip. These second rounds in Markibik going to have a flip. So you should expect that McGill is going to use all he can, all it takes, whatever means, to go all out and campaign. This time he's not campaigning for himself. He's campaigning for the president now. And the rest of the other people who are having, this political unionism, they're not campaigning for themselves. They're campaigning for the re-election of the president. So it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And the people are observing the form and manner in which these people are coming together and uniting themselves. So it's going to be a different ballgame in the second round or runoff.
But what is even intriguing? What is even intriguing? Just very quickly, is that there are two things that have been played here. The first phase was the trucking excitement what I talking about. Now we have what we call it trucking fatigue. So a lot of those candidates who may have trucked people to Margibi, like I have.
Is it only Margibi?
I'm coming. That's where I want to go. Like I have a contemporary experience of, because I have a project in Bomi. I was just there recently, and bulk of the people complained, especially the people who live in Bomi, like in the UP or candidates who won or Bishop or Madam Bishop's district. They said that for the first time in the history of Bomi, that elections, there were a lot of people that were trucked.
Oh, Bomi and trucking that.
To the extent that,
Especially with some of the candidates in the race.
Yes,
some of the candidates in the race.
Thank you.
I ain't going to name a particular candidate.
Yeah, to the extent.
Nobody get accused. I'm going there.
That is it.
So-
Bomi and trucking.
Exactly.
And savvy.
So the thing is, so what I'm trying to drive at is that,
5 and 6.
so what I'm trying to drive at is that those of those candidates who didn't win, there will be a major trucking fatigue. And the people who's not going to go back to those counties that we are talking about,
Well,
at the end of the day,
they're
it is a zero zone for them.
They're on their own. The
So-
thing is, they told you register where you live,
Correct.
so you can be able to vote, because the framers of the Constitution know that we say 50 plus 1. In the event where we don't get 50 plus 1, if you left from here and went to Sino County, my own county, to vote,
And we all have people there.
yeah, and you don't go in other people's district. I don't like to discuss this because for me, it's really, really discouraging. You don't go in other people's district to make decisions for them. Stay where you register, where you live, and make a decision in your district. But again, people choose to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So it affects other people when we have a runoff. Then it's left for the candidates to do their jobs.
Yeah.
So let's move to something else. I think we should talk about.
Yes, we should talk about the vice president's
Of course.
endorsement and to be encompassed with the first lady.
of course.
Yes. So let's start with you, Brocker.
You know,
I gotta be the last. It can be too long.
I know that.
To stay on,
I'll
because
tell you,
we have a lot of things.
He has a lot.
no, but I just wanted to talk about the fact that women have been naturally, historically and traditionally excluded from decision making the world over, but in Liberia, it was even more pronounced. When President Sirleaf was elected, that was the first on the continent, but it was shattering the glass ceiling. And so many people look to Liberia to be the trailblazer, the role model that they could look to for women leadership. And so when Adiule, President Weah, who already believed in women leadership, also committed to continue that culture, he selected Her Excellency Vice President Joe Howard Taylor. Following the election, he went to the stadium, made a commitment that he's going to ensure that political parties, that law is enshrined, that they have at least 30% women representation, all of that. But then midway through his leadership, he made all kinds of different gesture as far as empowering women is concerned. Some of the programs involve increasing women enrollment at the primary, secondary level to the extent that the gap between boys and girls in school dropped. We started to fight rape by bringing in, having a sex offenders registry. It's the rape issue, the offense was so much highlighted to the extent that we brought in a DNA machine and all of that. There was a whole conference call on that particular subject matter. So a lot of things have happened as far as women empowerment is concerned. It's unfortunate that despite all of these efforts, that we have right now, out of the 30 lawmakers, 30 senators, there's only going to be 3 that are women. Out of the 73 people from the House of Representatives, only 5.
Yeah, I think 5 or 8.
No, totally they're 8. So only 5.
Yeah, totally 8.
Yeah.
So
So
only 2 from the House.
Yeah,
Sorry.
5
8.
women.
Yeah.
So that's at the decision making level, the law making level. So it is only important that we ensure that a woman is up there, to be at the top seat, because we already began the culture since the end of the Civil War that a woman is up there along with the president, such as our current vice president and what have you, to continue that culture. It is the only ticket right now that has a woman on it. The other ticket disregarded women completely. I don't even know. If you check the number of candidates that are presented, you will notice that there was also an exclusion. So the women of Liberia came together today. Various stakeholders, women leaders across the board came to Liberia. Came together today, essentially saying that they stand with Madam Joe Howard Taylor.
Your 2 minutes.
We stand with her. This is a woman. She represents us. We see ourselves in her. And besides, no society tries by excluding half of its constituents. No society tries by excluding half of its constituents. And that's exactly what the other ticket is attempting to do. The only ticket that is including women is the Weah Taylor ticket.
Thank you, Brakai.
Yeah,
So I'd like to start by saying, what you see in these endorsements are an exodus of the yesterday's woman into the today's woman, a revolutionized and sophisticated set of mothers that are engaging correctly to political dimensions of Liberia. So, historically we had Angie Bray-Reynolds, we had Mary Letizia Burnell, we had Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Now, in the dispensation, you have a face like Joe Howard Taylor, you have Yemi Kanga Lawrence, you have a lot of other women that joined the political, dispensation. What has been happening is the fact that women are now gearing up. As the popular census result shows, it is 49-50, 51 between the male and female. And what is actually happening is that this government has been able to introduce more women into key decision making in the executive, and has also encouraged at the level of the national legislature 30% of women participation in national legislative activities. So these are clear embodiment of past activities that is going to lead us, you understand, to having more of these women involved in these national activities. It's quite interesting to note these women that came all out today to endorse the vice president and also the first lady in terms of the presidency, giving them the full support for the re-election of the president, is just a caveat in a message that is being sent that our mothers are no longer quiet. that they too need to be a part and parcel of the entire new process of Liberia. If you look at the quote unquote the cabinet listing that was made by our dear friends in the Unity Party, you see that the women participations we know very very low.
Yeah, women
I think only one or Colonial Squad, the female.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it tells you that this president has embraced on to a larger extent the women's participation in national decision making, which is a part of civic decision making of our country. So what you've seen today, these endorsements are the silent mothers, the silent daughters, the silent sisters that are saying enough is enough. We no longer the kitchen kind of people. We're no longer the housewives. We are helping to shape the destiny of our country by mentoring our children, helping our husbands to make good decisions. And as such, what happens to Liberia is our responsibility. So these endorsements are key. And let us not take them for joke. Because just like the church, if a woman endorses another woman, the other follows. Because what is good for Sister Mary is good for Sister Musu. So we are happy to see these things happening now, and our anticipations are high because we know in coming days, even before the 14th, there's going to be a lot of different endorsements, and more women are going to speak out.
Let's hear you, Gwashi.
Yes, so it's just the same thing that Boaka and Daniel have said, that this endorsement, it encompasses women inclusion, because if you look from way back, women have been politically bastardized. So now they
Yes, Pastor Dice.
they have been
You can tell me before
no, they have been dejected.
We're talking about
They have been dejected. They have been stepped in the back. They have not been recognized politically. That's what I said. Politically bastardized.
Okay.
Yes. So
You're bigger.
So what you see these endorsements, the signal of these endorsements is that women, they are trying not to put themselves in the front. They're trying to have a front row seat, like you see from the likes of President Sirleaf, who was the former president, the first elected female president of Liberia and Africa as well.
Yeah.
So you see the Liberia produce the next female president. So it tells you that the women themselves, they now see a competitive political scene where women are supposed to make these decisions that will affect the general population of the country. They're not sitting in the back anymore. They need to get up and wake up. So you see, wherever they see a representation of a woman, they see their voice. They see the future of a woman. They see the women advocacy. They see, a contributing factor of a woman. So they're not sitting down anymore. They can see plenty of men and say, "Oh, the women that will go suppose to men." No, they have to figure themselves out. That's why you see these endorsements are more significant to the women population. So it is just women inclusion and making sure that women are on the national decision table of the country.
We play high. I want to say you come home. So
Okay, so
We want to hear a perspective, Titi.
exactly.
You are a woman.
From a female's perspective, let's hear from you, please. Very important.
So first I'd like to give it up for all those women who turn out today to continue to make our voices heard
Correct.
on the national scene. We all know that former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who is Africa's first female president, her election brought pride to Liberia.
Exactly.
African women, all over the continent, felt that yes, if an African woman, a Liberian woman, can be president, I too can be president. You're not a woman, so you don't know the feeling it brings when you see a fellow woman, all the way up
Up
there.
at that level, yeah.
It
Yeah,
tells you
right.
that if she can do it,
You can do it too.
I can also do it.
Yeah.
And when President Sirleaf, phased out, the only person who thought, to make sure that, women remain, although we stepped down because President Weah had to pick, he was the face of the CDC. he didn't go to pick a man.
Yeah.
He chose a woman,
Woman.
at that, second level.
Gender equity.
Yeah, which, still elevated us as women, because he felt that a woman should be beside him to make decisions that will affect the lives of other women. We know what Liberian women felt way back. How many years did it take for us as women in Liberia to take part in elections? We were not voting. We
As far
all
as the-
know,
as far as
as
for the
far as the
50s.
history of this.
Before the 50s,
Yeah.
women could not vote.
We couldn't vote.
Yep.
Women belonged at the time, belonged in the kitchen.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just started voting. But when President Sirleaf broke the glass ceiling, every woman in Liberia felt, yeah, I can do it as long as this woman can do it. President Weah came, he said, okay, I'm going to bring a woman beside me. Now we have an opportunity. Those women who went out there today are not seditionists alone.
No.
There are women who participated in these elections. Even at the highest levels,
Yep.
we have few women who were vice presidential candidates to other people.
Correct.
We have women who went into the race as representative candidates. In fact, the person who introduced the program today was Sia Tanapole.
Yes, yeah.
Sia participated in these elections. So those female candidates
A very strong woman.
who
after her
participated,
father.
who participated in these elections see themselves in Madam Jewel Howard Taylor.
Correct. Owing to our history.
Yes. They say she's at that higher level.
So women can bring.
I'm running to be a representative in this country. If Madam Jewel Howard Taylor can be vice president, I can also be a vice
She was inspired by Ellen, Madam Sharif.
Okay. So I must support her
Yep.
because I will be there one day.
Exactly.
I believe that I can be there one day. Let's keep a woman up there. If you are on the fence, right, and you don't have a political party, maybe, your party ran because we had 19 other political parties, against the incumbent president. Those parties did not win. They're not in the runoff. Most of the women you saw over there, they're also from those parties. They're saying we need to have a woman voice up there because it means a lot to us. If we have two men, one vice president, one president, we're going down. As women, we're going down.
The women agenda would not be a priority.
We need to remain up there. That is what these women were saying. The woman who represented the Muslim women, she spoke to our reporter.
Yep.
She said, we are out here because President Weah has recognized us as women. And for that to continue to happen, we must have Madam Jewel Howard Taylor beside him. And to have Madam Jewel Howard Taylor beside him is for us to vote for the CDC because
Then we
that
will be so
party, is a gender sensitive
Party,
ticket.
correct.
Ticket of a woman
Okay.
election.
That ticket is a gender
That's
sensitive
a
ticket.
good point.
Yeah. And so those women were out there today cheering and saying, Madam Jewel Howard Taylor, we stand with you. I listened to Madam, Mema Briggs Menza. Yeah, I know I got 2 minutes. I got 30. In fact, I'm the
Yeah,
controller.
You don't want to be the time. You don't want to
Timekeeper.
You're the timekeeper, so
go
so you got, you got 30 seconds. You got 30
like
seconds.
that. But again, all in all,
No, but I think we shouldn't keep time. I mean, you can go ahead as much as you
Yeah,
want.
I think
Yeah.
your points. Your points.
Once you're
are-
making points.
Yes.
so Madam Mema Briggs Menza,
Yes.
who is another strong,
Woman.
and powerful woman in Bone
In Bone County.
County.
Can you imagine that?
In Bone County, she mounted the
Them
podium.
lady Swakoko.
Of course.
You see?
When you see those kind of women coming up, and standing up for other women, because I know people used to say in the past that women don't support women. That has changed.
Look at the greatest tribal mother, Swakoko, from the same Bone County. They're all following,
Of
correct?
course,
Yep.
of course. So if you're a market woman, and I saw the head of the Liberian Market
Yes,
Association,
she was.
Telling me.
she was also
Another powerful
yes.
woman figure.
She
And
made
It tells
a
you that
very
the women in
powerful
the
statement.
market, the women in the market,
my mother's a
also
market woman.
see themselves.
Mine is a market woman.
You
Okay.
see?
Oh yes.
So they see themselves in Madam Jewel Howard Taylor. If we have a female vice president, the women always have a voice, which is a very good thing. So I like to say, kudos to all of those women who are keeping the dreams of Madam Mary Lauren Brown,
Let's say Bonel.
yes, all of those powerful women who their work did not go in vain. So kudos to all of you today. That was a great program. We will soon talk to
George Lugon.
Yes, George Luogun, who is already with us. We will soon have him, and we
A long time now.
a long time is already with us. We'll soon talk to him for at least 30-45 minutes. We want to know what exactly is happening in Nimba County.
So before we talk to him, I think we can talk about the perception of the young people. What happened today at the CDC
headquarters.
Yes.
Okay, then we can.
No, but maybe we can save that for last.
Let's save it
Because
for
I
last.
think we need to lead up to his conversation.
And then we can delve into West.
Okay, so let's start up with that.
So Josh,
we can bring him
join the
on.
conversation.
We can bring him on. So let's
Okay, so-
bring him on. Come.
No, I was going to talk about, and he can follow up because he knows the context specifically to talk about what is happening in Nimba County. But from the surface, we just look at the endorsement today of Larry Youngquo because that is significant. A couple of people have endorsed the president lately. I know that there was a senatorial candidate, I think he came forth for something, who was on the ELBC platform. I forgot his name, but he endorsed the president as well. But then we also heard from District Number 1 yesterday, Sam Brown.
Yep.
Office posted
16,000
that they are going blue.
Yeah.
And then we've heard from the matriarch. I always like to call her rather, Edith Gongwewe, who also has endorsed the president. And this outspoken elderly statesman of the country, but who hails from Nimba County, who has previously been critical of the government, by the way, we should state that. So at the end of the day, he had the option. He had to weigh his options.
He said that.
He had to weigh his different options available to him. So he's looking at the incumbent president who's developed his county, because he said he doesn't want to fall in the bracket of being an ingrate. Because if there's any president who's developed Nimba County quite a lot, done a lot of development in Nimba, would be President George Mbuya. So he said, these two people that people saying, some of the Nimba people will be saying, let's follow our sons and daughters and what have you. These are people who were backing the president before. But then suddenly they flip, and then now they want the rest of the county to follow them. But some of the things they're raising, for instance, he talked about the county development fund. He said he met with the president raised it. Yeah, where is this county development thing coming from? We've paid, the government has paid more than $5 million.
5.5 million.
Yeah, it should be in a dedicated an escrow account within Nimba County. And what Larry, who was part of the Nimba Legislative Caucus, was revealing today is that even some of that money was being siphoned by the very man who is claiming today
To be liberated in Nimba County.
Mr. Liberator, that the Nimba people are owed some money and blah blah blah, when he is the one that was benefiting, because at the time he said no other lawmaker from any other political party had the right to question him because he was from CDC. He was the ruling party lawmaker, and that their money, and this money was coming from ArcelorMittal, by the way. So I know that one of the schemes the president put up since he became president was to ensure that the county development funds or the social development funds rather that will come from the different companies will be overseen by the different county legislative caucus within the county. They will identify projects and what have you. That's how come he was pushing through developments in the different areas. So this was a different scheme, and he was so intent on ensuring that some of the road projects are carried out in Nimba County. So today it was quite revealing to hear from Representative Youngquo. Firstly, I was so pleased by his endorsement because Representative Youngquo carries a lot of weight. He has a huge stature across Liberia, but he was from Nimba County. But then it was revealing when you hear him talk about these people. Firstly he was critical of the president, but then you hear him talk about the very people that say don't vote for WIA were people who backed WIA before. Youngquo were fighting Prince Johnson then before.
Of course.
So to hear the men were fighting Prince Johnson then before when they're backing President WIA. So President WIA had Prince Johnson in your camp, and then Prince Johnson were very critical of Youngquo, and they were saying all the good reasons why President WIA should be maintained and all of that. So Youngquo is saying it is ungrateful. He doesn't want to be part of a group of people that will be called ingrate. Firstly, because he knows that the president has done quite a lot for Nimba County, but secondly, because he's seeing what these two senators are doing to the president.
And to just there's something very important he added to this, and he said one of the things that scared him the most was this painted mentality that the two senators are portraying amongst the Nema people, that the Nema people were the most affected people in 27 crisis. So as a result, they should always be together. So he said, when are we going to think that we should not be together to think about dying together? But what about going together as what the president is actually doing in our country? He said, I was one of the critical persons, that criticized this president. But looking at the projects, places like Peru, that got electricity today, you just imagine that.
I'd like to hold there, Daniel, and speak with Presidential Press Secretary Solo Kebet. Solo, good evening.
Good evening, Chiki, and good evening to our many listeners.
How are you this evening?
I'm in silence, sleeping so.
Oh, trying to be good. Bless God that I'm breathing the air He gives me. So I think it's a nice evening.
Great. So the chair of the CPP Legislative Caucus, Representative Larry Yonkwe of District Number 8 in Nimba County, endorsed President Ware today, and he said a lot of things. I want to know from you, how does President Ware feel about this endorsement?
Well, the president is very happy. Not because he was endorsed, but because the reason his endorsement is something that will excite anybody, including himself. As everybody knows, Representative Youngway is someone who is never or was never a friend of the government. He was very critical, and all his citizens was all in the interest of the country. But he has come to realize that amidst the criticism those candidates took part in the race, this best person who is developing our country, including Nema County, is the president. So having realized and seeing somebody of his stature, someone who is an academician, somebody who is known globally, somebody who has worked for the United Nations, and somebody who knows what development stands for. And just in him, despite all the odds in Nema, I think they speak volume, and the president is excited about that, and anybody will be. Because he said that he was not endorsing the president because he's the president, but he was endorsing the president because he wants to develop the country in Nema. He wants people to have access to education. One of the things he made mention of, he said that most of the invalid balance we got is because most of our people are not literate. And this is someone, this is a president who believes in education, who were free wise, who is now proposing that elementary education in public school be free come next year. This is somebody who is talking about as of next year, January, we should not have voluntary teachers. So it means teachers will be available in the classrooms. People who are volunteering will be on salary, and that will boost up to some extent the education sector in our country. So
okay, Solo. Elections are all about numbers. Nimba County now is that one county a lot of people believe, and we know, has a lot of votes. You just had the endorsement of Edith Gangolwe. Yesterday, we heard that some other some candidates, some participants in these elections, endorsed the president from Nimba County. Today, we heard Representative Larry Yonkwe, a staunch, critic of the president, endorsed the president today. How is that? How do you think, and how does the president think that is going to sway the votes in Nimba County in the way of the CDC? We know CDC got 50,000 plus of the votes in Nimba County, but Nimba has a lot of votes, more than 150,000 votes in that county.
Well, I think it's a very good sign for the president that it's a boost to his re-election bid. And we know most of these people that you just named, their followers are people who believe in their ideologies, people who follow them, people who listen to them are not just based in Nimba County, they are also outside Nimba. So they are not bringing votes just from Nimba, but votes from other places in our country. But one of the most important things today It's not just about the number they are bringing, but the rationale, the reason for which they are endorsing the president, why they are not following their own compliment, why they are not following, it's because they believe in development. They believe the president is the only person that can deliver the country at this point in time. How can you be a representative and no international, a senator, and no international committee wants to work with you? And you are a senator wanting to become president or vice president in disguise. You put out your plunge our country into more and more chaos. International relations, possible,
Sanctions,
all
all
the
of that.
signs are there. So these are people who read between the lines, who know better, who know the political trend things are taking, and they are endorsing the president.
Where is Madam Edith Gungwe? Is she in the trenches already? Has Larry Youngwe, representative, promised to get out there to convince people to vote for His Excellency? Have they, made that commitment?
Well, like I said, that's one of the beauties of those that are endorsing the president. They are not endorsing the president to remain in the comfort zone of Morovia or in the comfort zone in Nema County, but have already begun working. Most of them, they have their own people in the field. Most of them, they themselves, not just a process, but they themselves are engaging the people in the very constituents, and they are working. And so it's not just about moral endorsement. You come from signing endorsement and moral, you cannot go back to standard. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who immediately endorsed the president went back, and some of them even were praying to even do their endorsement in the rural counties instead of Morovia, but protocol dictates that they were here at the time, so they were able to do the endorsement before going.
Are we going to see more endorsements in the coming days?
Yeah, we are going to see more endorsement. Besides that, we expect some people to disassociate themselves from other people that are endorsing other candidates on the side, because some of their statements were reading that they were consulted and they are in view of what they were saying. This is what they're questionable. So the next 2 days, we expect some people who reportedly or who were put out saying they gave instruction, they were consulted. This is why they were endorsing candidates from the other side. But the people themselves said they were never consulted. That's not a view.
Who are those we're talking about?
Well, basically, I think yesterday we witnessed Senator Nathan Tiaji talking about his people has empowered him. He considers his people his status, and they see that the best ticket is the up ticket. In contrast to that, the people actually know they were never consulted. That's not a view. They believe in the president. The president will be the one to do the roles. They believe some of the acquisition he made, for example, saying that the election should be about one man, one ballot. But under Georgia-led government, the election is about 5 persons to 1 ballot. Some areas 6 ballots to 1 person, which is opposed. Very erroneous. I don't speak for NEC, but this president is the one who believes in democracy. This president is the one people are hailing. And all over the world, people are saying the president, people should follow like, for example, in terms of having a credible election.
Okay, so
the reference that Kelly was making, I mean, it's out of the blue. It's completely elusive. How can you say you are from Sandra, you are inside the campaign, and you are inside the voting? Where does that come from?
So I don't think we should even dwell on Tiaji. He who's down fears no fall. He's already out of the picture. Yeah, sure.
It's so good that those people who you said empowering or you were representing or speaking on behalf are coming to disassociate themselves.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking with us this evening on Open Conversation. Ansel Okebe is Presidential Press Secretary. So let's you listen to him. Let's come to our guest who's already in studio, has been waiting patiently, George Luogon. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Pronunciation from the country. We know a politician.
Luogon,
But phonetics regularity.
of course.
Correct.
No.
You know, you see, you do politics.
Oh Lord, how are you? Welcome to Open Conversation.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here to share a platform with a great man and a woman of Liberia. I brought you greetings from the campaign team of Nema County, and it's a pleasure to be here.
How is Nima?
Nema is great. Nimba is great. Nimba is doing well, and we have a prospect that Nimba will do better on the runner-up than we did at the first round of the election.
Why do you have that prospect?
The prospect we have is that there are a lot of things that went wrong that we have discovered. There were a lot of messages that we felt were not appropriate. But our opponent used those messages against us. But as we speak now, the reality of the Nima politics is being played now in Nima, where we are talking to our people to give them a clear picture of what has been happening in the country since 18 years. How some people, particularly Senator Johnson, have polarized the politics of Nima on tribal line, and which has benefited him a lot at the detriment of the other tribes in Nima. So we have been very blunt to our people to make them understand that those decisions that we take in the past, like the recent election, have not been benefiting a portion of the country. So it's about time that we take decisions that will benefit.
But Ngonto, how sure are you that this is going to change anything? Because at the end of the day, it showed that at the last election showed that the politics of Senator Johnson is winning.
What happened is, the issue is, the tribes in Nima, there is a particular tribe in Nima, for example, the Mano. We have been very moderate. We have been very considerate.
You're from the Mano?
I'm from the Mano ethnic group.
Okay.
We have been very considerate, and because of our level of consideration, Senator Johnson has presented the country as a Geo-dominant country. He has preached that even on his pulpit. On many occasions that the Geo are in majority as compared to the other tribes, and that is actually an illusion. Because if you look at the demographic of Nimba, you understand that District 1 is occupied by Mano. District 2 is Mano.
Which towns in District 1?
District 1, the Ganta area is Mano. The Senegal area, which is District 2, is Mano.
Okay.
District 8 around where you have Flumpa, going to Seglepe where is Mano. District 7 is Mano, except the new demarcation that add a little portion of the Geo area. District 9 is Mano, and District 3 is shared by both the Mano and the Geo people. So if you look at Nima County, the demography of Nima County, you find out that you need District 5 and District 4 are completely Geo. Because if you go to the
so one of the things I don't like us to talk about, but I think if it's genuine, we talk about it. I don't want us to delve into the tribalism as much about especially this is a national platform. But if you think for any reason that that there's been a geographic region of the county that has been excluded from national development, you can talk about. I mean, I'm not going to. So let's talk about those geographic regions that have been excluded, and that Senator Johnson has been profiting off the backs of these areas, and you want to talk about those kinds of things.
The reason I was trying to lay the basis is because whenever he takes a platform, he makes it look like certain tribe is dominant in the country.
Okay,
and that's a myth. As I just outlined, the just in the election, Senator Johnson went to where he has dominant of his kingsmen, and he spoke to them in parable that you cannot take all your intestine and put in leaf. That the interpretation of that was you can't take your kill men from power and then put a Mano man. And
is that how you guys interpret that?
That's how you got the vote for the Geo era. Unlike the Mano area, we have been voting irrespective of tribe. We live, we see you as the buyer, and people vote you in the Mano era irrespective of tribe. Like in the Ganta era, Senator Johnson got a huge vote. In the Seklepi era, in Senegal era, even in the Yame era, and another era called Zor in the same District 3. Unlike in District 4, District 5, where you have dominant Geo-speaking people, all the contestants from the Mano belt, they got nothing, absolutely nothing. That was on the instruction of Senator Johnson. So what came to mind is, if you continue to vote that way, whenever people vote that way at the end of the electoral process. Senator Johnson takes siege of the county,
Offers and all of the stuff.
courthouse and appointment and whatever. He always makes it a priority and makes it part of the boundary agreement on the regime he will support. That all appointments from the for instance,
They done by
be
him.
done by him. And when appointment comes, you always favor people of his tribe. He usually doesn't look at the Mandingo, the B, and that is the Pabli people. There was a particular instance in this regime where the son of Pabli, the Crown people who live in the Pabli district, in person of Mr. Peter Kamwe was nominated to have been appointed as development superintendent. Senator Johnson opposed that and threatened the regime that if Mr. Kamwe had been appointed by that time, he would have withdrew his support from the government because he was somebody that was highly respected. That nomination was withdrew, and he recommended one William Byers of his kinsmen, who became the development superintendent up to date. So that's how the politics has been. So this time around, at the second round, and looking at the manner in which our Geo brothers and sisters voted, we have been, in the country telling our people that the only way the Mano, the Mandingo, the we, and that of the people from Pabli will have representation in the government to come 2024 is for us to vote in the counter to Senator Johnson's position, and that message is resonating well.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
How do you know it's resonating?
because we spoke on radio and we have folk stories on right as we speak. We have people like Honorable Roosevelt Down from the District 8 era, along with even Honorable Melvin Gape, who was in studio today with Larry Yonkwe. He's also one of the sons of District 8. He's from the Mano Belt. And we have the chairman of the county on a regular basis in the Secretary. We have a lot of them.
So I want to ask. So you have divided the county geographically in terms of where to campaign.
Yes, the county is divided. Okay, people have been deployed to where they have strength. For instance, on Swambe is in the Yame era. On Thomas Kumpa is in the Zor era. In the city district 3, but there were the hill and there were the had that strength. So that's
So these things never happened before.
we didn't do it because
wow.
actually apparently we want to attribute to complacency and incumbency,
Factor, yeah.
factor. We felt we were in control, and actually the manner in which Senator Johnson and Senator backstabbed the government at the 11th hour. They put a lot of things out of disorder, and
because the whole structure of the county was based on him.
Yeah. And whatever he said to the president, was what the president went back to the extent that even if the president wants to make a visit in Nimba, you will tell the president everything is okay, you don't have to go, just deal with me, I'm going to make sure that you go Nimba until the 11th hour. And the reason you saw most of us standing up to rise up to the occasion was because we don't want Nimba to be bound to be seen in generality as ungrateful people.
Yeah.
Like our Yonkwe listed today. Yeah. There are a lot of projects, bigger projects that the president undertook in Nimba. And some of those projects, will live longer with us. So, we were even disappointed more, in a company that has zero constraint in terms of road connectivity. And this president told road in company that today you have asphalt pavement in the city of company. But brother, if you see the way that people voted their own instruction of Senator Johnson, just by making that statement,
is anything going to change now that you guys are, doing what you do?
Exactly.
Do you think that anything is going to change? Because I heard Senator Johnson was on the radio again today.
Yesterday, actually, we were on the radio yesterday. Was just a repetition of what he had been saying, and immediately he left the radio yesterday. I went to Voice of Mumbai and I debunked what he said. Some of the things he tried to say was President San Gilo.
Yeah,
and I mean, I made the people understand that what he said was a complete, demonstration of nothing. After serving as senator for 80 years, for a senator to come and say the president's son law, it sounded very,
and he did lawmaker.
So I made
It has to come from you.
Okay, so I made our people to understand. We even spoke in the local vernacular that president doesn't make law. President is is administrator. The lawmakers.
You spoke in the local vernacular.
I did.
So let me ask you. I'm going to ask you a basic question. How is Senator Johnson viewed in Nimba County?
Honestly, Senator Johnson has been a beneficiary of the travel, divisive politics in Nimba. That's why have been helping him.
You mean he thrives on divide
He thrives on the divided road mental. He comes when he comes to the Mama era and he goes to the we era, for instance. You call for Nimba unity. Then when he gets to his region where he heal, you will tell the people, do not take out your intestine and put it in, which means regardless of what may happen, I am your own.
Okay.
Do not reject me and bring in somebody.
So what's about Edith Gongwe? What is Edith Gongwe?
Go to Edith. That comment you made, it's not in secret. If what you're saying is anything to go by, if Senator Johnson goes to his area and say, "Don't take up your intestine and police," and then he goes to the manor, say one Nimba. How? Why did it take the people,
all this while,
to realize exactly what Senator Johnson has been doing? And how do you think,
that they're going to come out of it?
Yeah, they're going to this time around believe you guys and go in your direction?
Unlike this year, usually people will wait after election, first round, second round, before people will come out with they kind of reawakening statement. But the difference this year is that we made the intervention right at the beginning of the runoff, because this thing happened around 2014. The affected Mana Edith Gongwe, and right after the 2014 senatorial election, people were calling for a geographic division of Nimba into two counties.
Wow.
For us, we believe in one Nimba. But what we are doing this time around is to vote in a way that will set precedents that this country belongs to all of us, so that comes or 2024, or when President George Manuia is re-elected, we will have representation of all the tribes in the cabinet.
Exactly.
And the good of the matter is that Senator Johnson, who have been suppressing or oppressing all of tribes, is now on the other side of the divide. So if this government, if our message is accepted as it is being in the country, and this person is re-elected, we believe that the nomination and appointment of people from Nimba County will be done, irrespective of tribe. Unlike him, when he spearheads the country, you always look at people from his region. That's how he has been. If you look at the setting of the country, for instance, when Musa Belete were contesting, he went against Musa Belete vehemently. He went there and tribalized the entire district, which is not of his tribe, and told the people that Belete is an accomplice to the land crisis in Nimba. And in fact, he said Belete had connection to 15 land cases, so they shouldn't elect him. But contrary to his statement, when the people voted on Belete because of numerous development in district number 7, he congratulated the very people that he told not to vote on Belete for voting him. And yesterday, there was a contradiction that I noted, and I told the people that you should not trust him. He started his what I call caricature of a press statement by praising the government, that the government had a free, fair, and transparent election. The election was fair. Then at the end of the election, he said the government does not respect the rule of law. So I want to tell people that that's a contradiction.
Yeah, it is a contradiction.
The government that doesn't respect the rule of law will not
have a free and fair election.
Result or a free and fair election. So those are contradictions that we noted in his statement yesterday, and we elected our people, and those checkpoints are being erected. But actually, this runoff is a difficult movement. But when we raise the issue about what we call the tribal contest in Nimba, because what we told the people is we want to do the popularity contest in Nimba to know which tribe is really in dominance.
Let me ask you. It would seem as if a lot of the lawmakers, because the first round of the election, we used to hear from people like Shadrach Boki, Regina May, the likes of, the young people. Basically, the young people. Now we're beginning to hear from lawmakers, the likes of Yonkwe, Sam Brown. Yes, how will that? Do you think that's going to affect a major change, or do you think, in fact, the fact that we're not hearing from some of these major stakeholders before was the reason we got the kind of vote we got, despite the level of development that the president has carried to the country? And I also want you to, when you finish with that, I also want to talk about this tag of ingratitude and all of that, because a lot of people are beginning to say, Nimba County received the most development from President George Manuia. And it seems as if it is a county that voted against the president the most. So how do you feel?
Actually, when the results of the first round of the election was read, some of us we felt discouraged. We felt discouraged in the sense that we personally made some intervention with the support of the president. Despite the construction and development that the president did as government, we as Nima for We, I'm a member of the Nima for We movement. When we started this movement, we took road to towns and villages in the far area where President Senator Joseph Hill. We constructed road from a town called Yao Tiaple to another town called Yao Lepula. And when we got to that area on our assessment, people may also understand that for the longer time Senator Johnson has been in power, he had not even made no step in that era, though the place very close to his hometown. Okay, and they cry a lot. So because of the constraint he expressed, we were able to come to town and lobby with the Ministry of Public Works, and they gave us new brand machine that they just brought in country, and they constructed road to connect those towns. Well, unfortunately, because of the tribal politics, Senator Johnson went in that region. And then he made a C statement, like I said, and because of that, the people voted, in his direction. So we were actually discouraged because, of the tribal politics that play in that era. And more besides, the demand for Uya, Shepherd Duki, the regional man, the reason you are not hearing them now is because all of us will have our feet on the ground and we're trying to do the Focus Soya, campaign. Unlike in the past where you always hear us on the media, from one media outlet to another, which gave the result that we saw. We decided that maybe the media, talking was not sufficient to win the vote. Since this second round is as crucial as the first round, what we got to do now is to change the tactics and engage the people more. So all those people you need, the chairman regional man, I left chairman regional man in Saturday yesterday doing engagement with the 7 era. Sheva is basically Senegal City because they're here. Okay, so that's how we divide ourselves. So as you speak, all the men you're talking about that are in the country. So we are actually.
I really want to know how has the endorsement of Madam Gongolwe of President Weah, how did the county receive that?
That's a good question.
The coming over of Madam Gongolwe was actually a breakthrough for us because in the region where we hail, in the Mano region in particular, Madam Gongolwe is seen as the arrowhead.
She's the leader of the Mano tribe.
Arrowhead. Yes, we see her that way. If you follow the statistics from 2020 elections, when she contested against Jeremiah Kun, she whooped Jeremiah Kun even in his own district. He came and represented in District 1. She whooped Jeremiah Kun in that area. It took Senator Johnson and Jeremiah Kun into the Giro region where they carry on,
all kind of because people even questioning the legitimacy.
Exactly. So that's how people see her. In fact, when she entered the country, she was welcomed, with a huge crowd. And as soon as she hit the country the next day, she and I had a rally in a town between Senikole and Gonta called Zui. And she spoke to the people there in the vernacular, and the people received her. She's a very respectable woman in Nima County. So we believe that her presence will change a lot of things. So you have people like Mana Ibu Gogo where
because her brother got 7% of the votes.
Yeah.
Some will argue. So can she pull much of her weight towards the president?
With no intention to denigrate Councillor Gonglo, when it comes to Nima politics, Madam Ibu Gonglo has weight than Councillor Gonglo. Of course.
Okay.
In fact,
Gonglo then had more.
And besides that, this is one thing I want to say on state radio. The endorsement that the LPP did, I believe 100% that it did not meet the approval of Councillor Gonglo as an individual, but because his institution went that way, he decided perhaps to obey the decision of the institution. You could see Councillor Gonglo, who could have a very articulate man, sat at that press conference and said nothing. So one thing that I have seen, and I will tell the people, I want you to take notice of this, is Councillor Gonglo would not go to member the campaign for the Unity Party because at the beginning of this whole presidential, he
was very critical of the Unity Party.
Yeah, no besides, Councillor Gonglo saw the introduction of Jeremiah Kun in the presidential race as a challenge to jeopardize his chance, in the race, like happy. because has Jeremiah Kul not been introduced in this race, Councillor Bongo would have been the face of the Nimba candidate in the election. Then when Senator Josie saw Councillor Bongo in this election, he saw Councillor Bongo as being the arrowhead of the people of Nimba candidate in this election, that perhaps a second round they may have gone to back away. So to narrow the chance, to narrow the chance, I mean, what have you been keeping this? To narrow the chance of Councillor Bongo or Senator Josie, heavily recused himself from the political leadership of MBR and brought in Jeremiah Kul, and later on decided to negotiate with Unity Party, and then they brought Jeremiah Kul in the fray. So the introduction of Jeremiah Kul in Nimba politics was all about making sure that
it hurts.
Bongo. So on that basis, Councillor Bongo will not go to Nimba to campaign, because the institution decided. Because if you look at the structure of the LPP, a box of them are Lufians.
Yeah, so that's what I heard.
So most of them are Lufians. They decided to go that way because it's the institution decision.
And I also heard that some of his sponsors are from the states and all of that. They sponsored most of his activities during the campaign, so they wanted him to back, Bwaka, and so he could not.
But all of that showed.
But my thing is, okay, this is my disagreement. Councillor Gongo has been known as the man of integrity, the man who will stand up to powers, however mighty they are. The likes of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the likes of George Weah, the presidency and all of, and speak his mind. How couldn't he speak his mind to these people? But he felt, he genuinely had God's feeling that this is not what I support. How will he go coward his way, throw between legs, and I just think there are too many things that's cowardice. That's the definition of cowardice.
Yeah, that's cowardice. And you could see, like you said, you could see the impression on his face on the day of the endorsement program. It's a person who is vocal, who speak truth to power. He was very quiet. So there are too many things that may have interplayed, like what Lugo has just said here. And let's watch and see if he goes into Nimba to campaign for the Unity Party. But then again, the same thing we said, Titi, we've always said on our show, it is like he's just attested, has carried the meat of the LPP, whereas the frame of that entire snail is left.
Yeah,
of course.
sure.
And the thing about it, I think it's because the party decided, and it's not Councillor Gongo alone. So because you could tell from his countenance that day during the press conference, he has been a staunch critic of former Vice President Joseph Yuma Bwaka in these elections. That is one person who did not even go for incumbent President George Weah.
No.
All of the time he was campaigning, he was on former Vice President Joseph Yuma Bwaka. He campaigned against him. Yeah. So when they had a press conference, you could see the countenance on his face.
Sure.
Yeah, it's something that you don't want it, but you're part of a whole, and you can't stay away from that.
And
I also agree with Bwaka. I would say is that this is a man who is highly respected.
Yeah, when you say Councillor Gongo, in fact, that was why his campaign, a lot of people overseas in Liberia and other places say, I'm going for people who felt like they didn't have to back the incumbent or the opposition.
They
say that this is a man of integrity. Let's go integrity that regardless of what they may prefer to live a poor life rather than power.
But
so how you couldn't speak truth to power?
Anyway, he believes that it's over for him. He said he's not going to run in any election.
Yeah, so let's listen to Larry Youngquist.
Raising the issue of brutal elimination of people, annihilation of one group against the others that we saw in the 80s are no longer come up play. But there are a lot of wars that can be fought. A community, a country can be strangulated if the people do not rise to the occasion to call SPSP.
So
the interest of maintaining the security of our people, whether it is economic or physical, we decided to take the bull by the horn to express our support to the ruling party, to join our compatriots who had gone there earlier, to let the people know that not everybody in Nimba is an ingrate.
Yep.
We know how you handle our two senators in the past, to the extent that some of them were even supported to become senator. Some of them have homes and farm and own a lot of businesses today because of their closeness to this ruling party. If anybody should go against this, ruling party. It should not be those gentlemen. And so if we all sit quiet and wouldn't take side, and then we acquiesce to their ingratitude to the ruling party. So I come here on behalf of the labor-minded people of Nimba, the people who believe in the development that President Weah is carrying out. Those of us who come from District No. 8 Nimba County, from Kanta to Secretary, which encompasses 80% of District No. 8's highway. The quota that we are experiencing today did not come by accident. It is because George Weah was prepared to have that pass. The electricity that has come into Plain Township and beyond into the district, the cross-border electricity that has crossed from Jekipa all the way to Bonkati, and all the other goodies that are happening to us, including the road from Senepe to Takata, the road from Ganta to Senekole and Jekipa, the road from Senekole Sekipa to Lugwatu. All of them are experiencing asphalt pavement, or in our local parlance, Kutai Road. It didn't come by accident. No government can be doing this and say enable you to have the 1.5 million every year as social development fund, giving concessional agreement to companies to operate in places like Cocoa Rubber Corporation that is giving so much money to the community, all things being equal, and you see that government is not producing.
Let me ask you, how do you feel listening to him? You are in Bayern. How does it make you?
That's not about how he feels. How do you think
How
that
do you
is going to
think
change,
exactly
you know,
the mindset of people? Exactly.
No. I first want to get his personal.
Brother, you already know obviously you know what you expect. You already know what you say.
Mr. Fufuna,
Yeah, you already know what you say.
the statement by Honorable Yonkwa today made me to feel more relief. You know, it is a backup to the message we have been preaching of recent.
Is that going to change anything? Is it going to change the mind of the people?
Greatly. You know, one of the things that we have been saying in Nima of recent, you know, the message to those people carrying Nima is Alexander Johnson said he's on tape, calling all of people in Nima, this is Nima time. And one of the things we have told our people is that it should not only be Nima time when a particular tribe is involved. And this is the reality. You know, Senator Johnson has divided our country on tribal land to the extent that whatever involves a Mano or Mandingo, he will oppose it. Yes. This is the reality. Let me give you an instance. 2017, Honorable Dor Cooper was a sitting superintendent of the Unity Party government. At the runoff, he joined Senator Johnson. They supported Senator Weah at the time, now president, and the CDC government came to power. Dor Cooper was retained as superintendent up to 2020. When 2020 senatorial election came, Dor Cooper made some consultations in the hierarchy of the CDC, and he was given a blessing. You know, Jeremiah Kun
To run, right?
to
He's
run
running
as
those
senator.
elections.
Jeremiah Kun supported the Unity Party at the runoff in 2017, so he was nowhere close to the CDC.
Okay.
But when Dor Cooper raised his hand for the senatorial seat, and Senator Johnson being the arrowhead of the country, he didn't want Dor to come to this opportunity. So he went, you know, behind the scene.
And Doris from the Mano Bill, right?
Doris from the Mano Bill.
Okay.
Dor in Council Gongo from the think tank. Okay. So he went behind the scene and brought in Jeremiah, who is his kinsman, and tried to fix between him and the president, you know, Fuji, you know, reconciliation.
Fuji.
Yeah, and presented him to the party as his candidate on the MDR. Pleaded with the CDC that CDC should have no candidate against him because they have, you know, a mutual understanding. Because of that, Dor Cooper was disadvantaged and he lost the election to Jeremiah Kun. That's one. And another issue there has to do with for instance, the nomination of Councillor Gonglo in 2009. Those are instances where Senator Johnson are physically going against other tribes. I want to tell you. When Councillor Gonglo was nominated by Manaseli in 2009 for the first time, Senator Johnson, being the senior senator of the country, he opposed Councillor Gonglo confirmation to the extent that Manaseli
As labor minister?
as Labor Minister, yes. The first time Councillor Gonglo was nominated, the nomination was withdrawn.
For what?
Because he didn't want Councillor Gonglo to be in government. One, because of tribe, and because of what, you know, that altercation between he and Amos Sawyer when Councillor Gonglo was working with Dada Sawyer in the RTG government. You know? So when the information reached Nimba, Dor Cooper, the very Dor Cooper who is now working with them, rallied people. They were soliciting signature to petition the Senate for Senator Johnson impeachment. When the information reached Honorable Harrison Conway, being another senior government official in the government at the time, hinted Senator Johnson that what you are doing is not good. The amount of people feel that you are oppressing, they are suppressing them, so they are soliciting signature to remove you. If you don't, if you are not careful with this Councillor Gongo appointment, that's how he went by the Madam Seli and asked the Madam to reappoint Councillor Gongo, and Councillor Gongo reappointed and confirmed. Okay, so whatever is not about Gil in Nimba, Senator Johnson doesn't support it. So the message they carry now in Nimba is this is Nimba time. Nimba is about to produce fast president. Senator Jeremiah is on tape. When he went to the Southeast the few times, he said he called his town that he hailed from in Sino. In fact, he tried to pose a challenge to the president that it is not only President Where that hail from Southeast. He himself he from Southeast. So because
he father from there.
He father from there. What we are saying is Jeremiah model from Nimba. She's a Gil. And Senator Johnson went to Nimba in 2017 and made the people of Nimba to understand that President William Moro is also from Nimba, from Buyadoro. And the particular town in Buyadoro called Double Town. Okay, so it should not be about particular tribe before we say it is Nimba town. So if Jeremiah Moro is from Nimba and he is a senator, and if President William Moro is from Nimba, Buyadoro, okay, he is the president. So our question to the people now that we are flagging now, although we were telling the people what you more refined to, but now we are telling the people the harsh reality is, why will we take our nephew from presidency and bring in another nephew to be vice president? Who are we?
Who does that?
Who does that? I know, right? Okay.
But
So
that's the fact.
That's the fact.
I know we'll soon go to the lines, but I want to ask you this question because I heard something like that from Representative Larry Yonkwe today. He made this staggering revelation that Senator Prince Johnson will always demand, like you've said, that the people who are appointed from Nimba County should be people who he recommends.
Yeah, that is our control.
65% of local government positions in the county should come to his recommendation. And when he's doing that, because he's the arrowhead, he gets his way, right? Does he take the other tribes in Nimba into consideration?
Except on a strict condition.
Like
for instance, if you were to appoint a commissioner in the Secretary man, it would be ridiculous to appoint a Gil man. But in the district where you have Mano and Gil sharing, the District 3, for example, we have both Mano component of District 3 and the Gil component. That district will definitely be presided over by Gil person.
And the Mano people don't have a problem with that?
We are trying to live with it. But what we're telling our people now is that we have been too moderate and our level of tolerance has caused a lot of problems. He has alienated us from, getting into, decision making in the country. So what we are telling our people now is the only way Nimbai or Mano or Mandingo and that of the public people will be represented in this government. Now that Senator Johnson is on another side, let us take the parallel side of Senator Johnson so that we can have a voice.
Correct.
If you look at even the way the voting way in Nimba, there is a particular district where Councillor Gongo Hill is a dominant, or Mano district. When this team brother was at Internal Affairs Ministry or Matanake Timba, he was persuaded by Jeremiah Kun and he resigned from the government because he was one guy who could really help, to push the campaign agenda or the personal agenda in the country. He was coerced, cajoled, let me say, by Jeremiah Kun. Then he resigned. He resigned and ran on the United Party ticket. But to disadvantage that man, Senator Johnson went and put an MDR candidate against him.
Whereas encouraged him to resign.
So they put an MDR candidate against him to weaken the man, and then they set the stage for another Gil brother of his town who come and great. And the district will talk about how less than 5 towns that are of Gil settlement. So it's the first time in the history of that district for a Gil man to represent Yahweh Menson. It happened. So if you look at the election that went on in Nimba, everything was stage managed by Senator Johnson. About 7 of the 9 districts I give the only 2 Mano representatives we have are District 2, Same Miami, District 8, Same Miami, and District 2, Nyaflomo, and on Musa ability in District 7. And on Musa ability on a strict condition because he actually carried on development in that area. That's why the people voted him, because Senator Johnson did everything he could
to undermine him.
But when this man won election, now he went yesterday on radio, letting the people for voting him.
You know,
So it's like,
the center of
it's like
Chicago.
you guys, the other tribes now are standing up because you are victimized.
We have been
So
victimized.
it's not, you support President Weah. You
Because
believe that, when the president wins, you will have a face.
You have
also.
a-
But again, even after President Weah, because with all of these revelations you were making, it tells one that, it's about President and Senator Johnson and the tribe he comes from.
That's how you
So
do.
the other people have been victimized, but it took these elections
For 18 years?
to realize that, we have to wake up, because if we don't,
Yeah.
then
Because the thing about it
in the
is,
county-
That's exactly-
he keeps flapping.
Yeah.
But he does
One
that
moment-
to his advantage.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm coming to. One moment is for the UP, another moment for the CDC, another moment for the UP.
Benefits of
And
both
he
sides.
does that. I mean, he's left its imprint on the county, basically overshadowing every decision of all the stakeholders of Nimba County, saying that Nimba is him and he is Nimba. That when Nimbaans are making decisions, it is Prince Johnson's decision. So regardless of the fact that Nimba County
And they have seen him that way, though.
has the second largest population of highly educated people. Listen to him.
Yeah, they have seen him that way
Of highly
because they
educated
don't see
people.
the tribe in the
But-
county. They see it as Nimba. But they,
No, they do.
they see it as Nimba. But Prince Johnson sees it.
He actually presented himself as the owner of Nimba.
The owner of Nimba.
Like I regularly said, when it comes to voting, the Mano settlement vote irrespective of tribe. Prince Johnson all
See
through
it as Nimba.
Development.
Nimba.
From the time
What do you believe in?
From the time Prince Johnson entered government in 2006, he had not stepped into his own home where a mother hail from.
Yeah.
Government play. He doesn't have a kitchen there.
Oh,
The only development he has in Nimba, perhaps in his
The
whole
college.
life, is that college. And that college is in the Mano area, it's in the Mano settlement. But he sits there, sometimes he denigrates the Mano people. But when there is election, the Mano people vote him. But when you go to the Gil area, there he goes and tell the people, don't vote for. Then, for instance, the young man who just joined the feed, apparently he was again promised, because what Senator Jones or Senator Koo is doing that in Nimba is he goes to everybody and promise them proper ministerial position. He did the young man.
Let's not
The party got it list already. I know.
The young man
small man.
the young man who appear with Younger today. He met Gape and told him, "Man, I want you to come on board and I'll make you minister or proper minister." He went to veteran journalist Jonathan Pelede. They both are from the T district. But when the two men met, they said, "But how possible is it? The both of us are from the same district." And then that's the kind of thing you do, You get promise everybody proper minister.
Wow.
So that's what happened. So actually, that's how.
Go your way to the president.
That's
That's how he's been surviving.
That's how the voting happened. So when Yan got in the race,
how popular is he?
Yan did a lot of job. Now Yan fought for his popularity.
Yeah.
And Yan would
Totally agree.
have really been someone to win that election, because Yan had tangibles, especially in the area where Senator Johnson Hill. There was no time that you could go like Yan doesn't have a hand mark. But because of that statement Senator Johnson made, the vote that came from that area, it was very discouraging. Senator Johnson doesn't have a hand mark, hand pump. I'm not speaking because we are in politics. I went to Senator Johnson.
So he's a master manipulator.
So what?
I think he's a
what could be
manipulator.
so Josh, what do you think could be done? Because you said it all. 18 years and he's been manipulating his way to the Senate, and now you coming back and say that there's been a lot of groundwork that's been done. What can really be done to open the eyes of our people from these manipulative tactics of Senator
The
Johnson?
people working the rankings have watched all of you.
We're not talking about strategy.
No, not a strategy. That's the mindset of the people. I'm not talking about our strategy.
One of the things that we could do, and which we have started doing,
We can talk about our strategy.
is to tell the people that the manner in which we have been voting have made us victims of our decisions. So it is our time that we change it, and the people are receiving the information. Look, I'm not saying this because I'm sitting on the national platform. I'm telling you what is happening in Nimba. If you go to District 2, if you go to District 8, if you go to District 7, District 9,
So now assuming you have Johnson Gueglo,
the people from Nimba listening, they can follow the show tonight.
how to call him Brown,
3 more minutes.
Sam Brown. We have Larry Yonkwe. Assuming at some point we look at to have
Ability.
Musa ability on bowl, you know, and then with the likes of Edith Gonglo, where these were people, all these people, these are no, Carbon are on board before.
Yeah, but it's still.
But I'm saying with the newcomers, plus the old, that's going to be a game changer.
Yes, seriously. And those people.
But I see myself, man, when Prince Justin throw one bomb,
what happens is, you know, we are already trying to defuse the bomb. And one of the things I want to say, I want to inform the public is that Prince Johnson, Senator Johnson, have paid a group of, couple of, elderly men from Nima, purporting to be the elders of Nima, and we heard that they are about to come up with a press conference shortly to tell the people of Liberia that this government has been suppressing the bias. And one person that is at the front of that is the former governing commission, one of the commissioners at the governing commission, Dr. Yasu Waidole. And he's a very respectable person that we are actually respecting in the country. And because of that stakes, even in our chat rooms, we have been raising critical issues about that, because we
reach out to him.
Yeah, actually, people when they are in that kind of position, they make themselves unreachable.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is to erect checkpoint that those people don't represent the elders of Nimba. Yasu Waidole is not part of the elder council of Nimba. The chief elder of Nimba is Peter Ballon. Peter Ballon is the chief elder. He was the one that presented the cola to President President Weah entered Nimba, read as Sokopa the first time he entered after Bon County. So when those people are left out of the process, and then you bring in people, you send in Morovia and have a press conference in the name of the elder council of Nimba Wufi, is deception. And when those kind of information start to come to the public, people should not take this seriously, because those are manipulation by Senator Johnson to make the public feel that indeed people of Nimba can have a problem with the president. But the reality is that those guys are manipulating in whatever way and form they can do, just as to get the mind of the people. So they are not legitimate elders of Nimba. The elders of Nimba are with the president. Okay. In fact, at certain point in time, Senator Johnson went and put a group of people together. He called them the proper elders of Nimba. So I don't know which one is proper, which one is improper. Okay, so those are things that are happening now.
It's not easy on him. I know it's not happy.
You realize now?
Yeah, with what is happening, and so he will all the how you call it, chicanery, right?
The chicanery,
yeah, it's gonna play. But again, you guys are there to make the people understand exactly what's happening. George Logan is the spokesperson, Nimba CDC campaign committee.
No. I'm one of the media persons. The spokesperson is on Wilfred Bangura.
So you're one of the
media persons.
Okay, one of the media.
Historically informed on the politics of Nimba County.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's your time now to weigh in on.
We hope and pray that people can call for Nimba too as well. Let's hear from them.
Hello.
Let's call the number.
Good evening, Daniel.
08051140996.
How you doing?
Thank you, and let me say good evening to CSTP and your studio guest. This is the voice of Eric Satiro from Jeju 3, allies with the annual sedition.
The persistent
to be frank, this evening I wanted to play a listening role, but I'm actually constrained to call because of what is the information coming from Nimba. We have always seen this, and we will continue to see it. The MDR and that of the Unity Party, they are so engulfed with division to play this tribal politics, which is very sad for our country. Look, our people of Nimba, they need to know this. They need to go to the poll on November 14 and choose development over tribalism.
Thank you.
They need to do that.
Thank you, Eric.
Hello.
Walk away from the monitor, please. Hello, caller. Walk away from the monitor.
From the radio.
Hello.
Yes, hello. We can hear you. Let's hear you.
My name is Moses Nigel from district number 3.
Okay.
Yes, I just want to say this. Say shout out to the studio guests in studio. Let's try to do the best to see our best. We can really let our president this second time, because the Nigerian want to put on good for that.
Nobody. The president studio is on the by.
Hello,
you
caller.
30 seconds. You call.
Go ahead, 60P, Washington, George, and Mr. Burger, your studio guest this evening. Good evening to every one of you.
Good evening to you.
Hello?
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you. You're live.
Okay, thank you. I'm Emmanuel M. Tupa Jr. and I join you this evening for the run office of the Interletter Club, district number 14.
Okay.
I want to appreciate your student guest. I don't know where you people been keeping this brilliant Nimbai from the son of Nimba. You know, for his analysis, it shows that Chris Johnson is a complete Mexicana. He wanna deal his way through, you know, on a bad footing. How can you go to one set of the trap in Lima and say Lima, and then you go to the country people and say you cannot put your intestine out and put a leaf there? I think that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and you can only treat a bad for bad medicine. So what I want to recommend to him, since they have already discovered and they are already in root of doing what they think is necessary, and it's about time that enlightening the other trap. Way. You people can focus.
Thank you, Emmanuel. You got 30
Let's do 30 seconds, please.
Let's move away from my radio.
Good evening, CTD.
Good evening, Colin.
Good evening, Uncle Fofana. This is CDC Tapi Success Creator. I do join you from the final law, the cottage, 3, Bon County, the Avenue, which is American.
Let's hear from you.
Bon County. Thank you. Thank you so much. There are one thing I know about Lima County when we're talking about election. The way they can call the first round, the way they vote first round, they don't vote second round like that. What round? But 1 round was given to the Unity Party.
That's true.
Second round will come in the interest of CDC. And now we are campaigning in Salai. Honorable Josiah Murphy team and Salai for 4 days. We are trying to make it happen here. So we know that it will happen.
Okay.
Thank you for the show tonight.
Thank you. Hello, Colin.
Hello.
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
I'm Arthur Spencer from Baga.
Let's hear from you, Spencer.
I really want to appreciate you guys for this program here. You know, before then, FDS
You the same color from last night, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the program, it's seriously better, and we're getting the real feedback from the people. Because PFBC them in Banga here, but 8 o'clock they used to be off. So at this hour, all the way we can listen to EFC. And really, I want to say bravo to Josiah Madiko of District 3 for going from preacher to preacher for also from door to door to get the message to the people when it comes to the real election of Sheila and President George. So I really want to appreciate you all you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're also waiting from the monitor. We'll call you up. Hello, Colin.
Hello?
Yeah, Colin, hello.
Please move away from your radio.
Hello?
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
Hello?
Colin, good evening. You're live. Let's hear from you.
Hello?
Yes, Colin, good evening. You're live. Let's hear from you.
I have to take him off. I need to take him off. He doesn't have. You can be, on the radio. You're hurting our ears.
Exactly.
Move away from the radio if you want to call us, because if
can
you
be hearing
stay
yourself.
close to the radio, you're hurting our ears. You're not hearing us because you're very close to the radio.
Good evening, Colin.
Hello?
Yes, good evening. Let's hear from you.
Hey, this is Victor Goya calling you from Keta.
Yeah, Victor, go ahead.
Let me say here, I appreciate you guys to make the program or interactive. You see, the reason why all the time, or two justices, all boss over there. So, sorry, you Lima, the people, they want to divide Lima, that's two justices. You know, they said that Lima should be divided, two justices, the one way against it. That is free. I say I don't vote for two justices.
Okay.
Thank you.
Again, Titi. 08055140096.
Somebody's on the line.
Hello,
Yeah.
Colin. Hello, Colin. Let's hear from you. Yes, Colin. Let's hear from you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Seda Espa Junior, and I do join you for district number 17.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm speaking as a first-time voter who participated in this grand October 10th election.
Okay.
Let me first of all say thanks to you guys in studio there. And you see, there's a difference between the coalition of democratic teams and that of the unity party. Well, I'm speaking fully as a reaction, and we are in full support. We are doing our door-to-door campaigns. We are doing our Jehovah Witnesses campaign to our fellow brothers and sisters in our communities, in our district. But you see these people who are pushing to take state power in this country. I'm very much disappointed in the opposition, most especially the Unity Party. My grandfather, Omer Joseph Boka, what do you see in this executive mansion that you want to be exempted by force? Because you know within yourself that deep down, you don't have the capacity of going to that area, but because of this power creating in the place.
Okay, thank you
All right,
so
thank you.
much.
Announcement.
So call us on 0880-514-096, 0880-514-096 to be a part of the program.
Caller, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, today good evening. Today, Nigeria been willing to go.
Yeah, let's hear you now.
What are you talking?
Yeah, I want you to give me a chance either tomorrow because changes said some things I want to debunk. I want to speak against him with the crowd. With the crew that are here, the way he spoke yesterday. I want to get to that studio to get to the 48 session.
So they want for the 8th session?
Yeah, I want to speak on behalf of the people.
Yeah, but you can beat your horse to speak. I can get you 5
No, I want to come to the studio tomorrow, but I didn't get the money to pay.
I get guests tomorrow. You can stay home. I can get you time and
You can call really well.
call and talk.
Yeah, okay, you can give me the chance tomorrow, then I will do that.
No, but not tomorrow now. Not tomorrow.
Okay,
I
then
get
you
guests
must
tomorrow, yeah?
give me the day, the time, the hour.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that.
You must get my number 077228995. You must call me on that number.
222-895, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 777228995.
Okay, I get it.
Call
Okay, thank you.
the paper.
Go ahead.
Hello, caller. Caller, hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Oscar David calling from the Sukima County.
Very well. Let's hear from you, Inima.
You know, the voting situation in India will be changed because people are voting because the statement making by our own men that we cannot leave our airport or our detect airport leave there, we're not going to get this time. We are not going to vote because we have brothers or sisters to vote. We have decided to vote and for the Secretary of President we are come to the vote voting. It doesn't kind of change. So we probably know that we're not going to vote.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
Hello?
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you, please.
Yeah, my name is Simeon Kola calling from District 8 Nimakanek.
Very well. Let's hear from you this evening.
Yeah, now your representative, your outgoing representative declares support today.
Yes, I want to tell that guy in the studio that all I think is telling that will be a good thing. Because now today, you people got to know that Prince Johnson about man. So the time he was behind Joe, yeah. From corner to corner, he was not bad. The only thing we want from Georgia in Lima County now is the government money to drink it.
Okay, I think we need to. I know he's not talking anything this time.
He's not even informed.
Yeah.
Hello, caller.
The government money you bring it.
Yeah.
Yes, good evening to you. Let's hear from you, please.
Thought he's gonna make some.
Very well. Let's hear from you, Inima.
Yeah, but I must say, I follow you this evening from our Lima. Meaning, I papi Prince Johnson and how you go to I papi. No one in Tennessee. I think you see Lima, yes.
Which part of District A you calling from? Hello? Okay, he's gone.
Walk away from your pull-up. Call attention.
Minute. Please move from there.
I'm Chester Gray calling from Toyota.
Okay, Charlie, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so I've been following ERBC a couple of days, but there is something that I'm not really feeling satisfied about. The issue of using a national radio station because I did a career card or special career card to me is not necessary.
We're talking about
Mute the radio now. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Let's hear from you.
my name is Emmanuel. You are calling from Dafuri County, was Jehovah Trust.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Huh?
Let's hear from you. You live.
Yeah, all I do represent you over there, and all the people on Facebook to Jowia. So I think to Milanera in Milana, don't try to go for Jowia. My family fast for all put in that for Jowia that look to take me at Jowia. So I appeal to my brother, my sister, my mom, my auntie, then I in Mila. Don't go for Jowia.
what are you doing, Bamboli? What are you doing down there? Oh, no. We're not going there.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
I'm just Solo from Banapong County.
Okay, Solo. Talk to us.
Are you getting me?
Yes, live and clear. Talk to us, please.
Good evening.
Just Solo, talk to us.
Yeah, that person has to do with, Prince Johnson, what he's doing in Himalayan, it's like they don't want development because the government has killed a lot of development in Nima. And if
No, not all the Nimbai one.
what now they're doing the election with power politics, the Ghana politics, we will not move our hand from even of us. Because Madam Joao Taylor is here, we are going to vote Madam Taylor because the way now the election going, and we ourselves, we get the vice presidential seat, so we can't be the NDA, the government be landing at all that they are taking the vice presidential from us, the Sherry will come and pass here. So we are going to vote to the winner.
The message is
Okay, so that.
Okay,
Okay, Papa, thank you. Now only that.
we're not going to buy
All people they call a fireboy. So we get one away in front of us.
Yeah.
Then he said we can be in
The
the
NTA
NTA
bosses.
because all of them ride the NTA process.
Tell what the 7 passing by the NTA.
Thank you so much.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello. Let me, I want to laugh about it. I'm to the corner of the Makate, station number 8.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Yeah, like, think about Senator Johnson, get mad, they say, I don't know, Christian nigga, too. In the house, but there's something wrong. We're not get time for that thing. We're not going to go to a
Exactly.
I said,
I
agree. I want to say, I agree with you.
We agree with you.
yeah, so we're really focused, but
Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, good evening to you. Let's hear from you, please.
Hello?
Hello to you. Let's hear from you. You're live.
Okay, my name is Abbas Kopa Ala. I'm calling from Laura Zoo.
Okay.
Now, Joshua?
I'm on ERBC.
Yes, you're live on ERBC. You're live.
Azu.
All right, Lufa County.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not speaking to the bias. I want to speak to Lofa, particularly the Loma where I come from. I want to let Lufias know, the Loma people. I want to let them know that our tradition, the power and the study, it is that of political institution that people can come pass through to encourage us say that they person should vote for. We want to take that particular society and the standard society out of our politics. When we went to the Front Society in 1979, we graduated in 1980. The people don't know all that we will be running campaign for political position in the country.
So what is your point? Go to the point. We don't have much time. Go
Yeah.
to the point.
Go
We
straight
don't
to
have
the
much
point.
time.
Other people,
What I'm saying here is that the United Father people come here and try to pollute our people's mind with their culture issue and tribalism business with a lot of people, the uncle and the nephew business. That is not politics. They should move out behind our people with those kind of propaganda. They want to spoil our culture in local here.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
thank you very much. Your points are well taken. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Vanity. I got one question for Minister Fofana.
What's your question?
There's a rumor calculating that ACO is going to join.
But what you asking me for? I'm not para ago.
Going to,
Go ahead.
I know what you're doing.
yeah, ACO is going to join the party tomorrow with the agreement that Ghana land when Waka takes over as president, he will give the Mandingo land back to them, and he will take it for
See what he said.
the management. He will back to them. And then besides that, he will declare Muslim holiday in Liberia, and then he will post on imam. I mean, all the imam on salary. The new calculation have as an information minister. Have you heard that news?
Okay, thank you very much. We'll respond to you very shortly. Let's take the next
We're
caller.
taking, 2 more callers and then we call it a quit because we're out of time.
Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello?
Good evening to you. Let's hear from you.
Yes, good evening. This is Success from District 3 from County. And then I want to inform there's a brother that called. He was saying that you people are using the state radio to
Don't worry about that. Go to the point, my man. Just go to your point.
Yeah, I just want to tell him that this is the same state radio party one that was using when you are playing pressure. And I get it, Madam Kelly Johnson getting pressure. This is the same state radio for using.
Thank you so much.
The 14th, trust that number, the lottery number, the winning number, November 14th. Going to defeat them. Joe will be re-elected. Come the 14th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Our very final caller.
Yes, caller. You the last caller for tonight. Let's hear from you, please. Caller. Hello.
That been already.
Yeah, he's talking like he's sleeping.
Message.
Hello, caller. Hello. Yeah, you too low. Getting you where you know.
Yeah, let me appreciate the studio guys, the studios, and we say things will say to be the studios. No far, I don't know where these people come from when we talk about like tribal politics, because they see that it's a tribal politics we can use on all we, the people of the country. And this time around, when you say no to tribal politics, definitely going to take development over tribal politics.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're not taking calls anymore because we're totally out of time. I know we didn't talk about, the
We can still talk about tomorrow.
the 10 young
Organizations.
people of the Youth League of the different political parties who joined the CDC today. And the person and the reason why it even came to my mind is because of the question from that guy, because I see on Facebook that ARCOP is joining
the
Unity Party. But the Youth League of ARCOP has
Go right
joined 9 other youth leagues, a consortium of youth leagues to join to join the CDC and support the re-election bid of President Weah. That statement was read tonight by the Youth League chair of ARCOP.
Okay.
You know what I'm beginning to see, Titi, is that there's going to be sort of a revolt within ARCOP in the coming 24 hours. That is because it seems as if a bunch of old men who are looking after themselves and their personal interests, probably business interests, and their affiliates and all of that, or trying to settle scores. Some other people feel that one person is more of the tribal group than another person.
Equal to another.
That they own the group and all of that, because we know politics in Liberia is based on region, tribes, and all of those stuff. So we know where ACO base is. It's within Islamic the Mandingo Islamic group and all of those stuff. So it seems as if some other folks want to hijack this process, use it to benefit their personal interest and also to set the schools. You know that there was a point when I think Cabinet Janet was removed from the Supreme Court of Liberia, but guess what? He was replaced with another Mandingo man. He's not more Mandingo than
I've
Yusuf.
been seeing a lot of Islamic leaders and young people who joined the city in the past.
Exactly. So Cabinet Janet is not more Islamic or Muslim than Yusuf Kabah. Than George Yusuf Kabah. Correct. So for people to want to gang up because of him, I understand some of the folks from the Unity Party who have previous, inherent grievances with maybe the president or maybe officials of the government. We're beginning to see them posing in pictures with Lucini Kamai, all of that. So these are people of the old order. It's dying away. The younger people, they are revolting. Yeah. Listen to what Musa Sharif said. Musa Sharif is a standard bearer of the National Development Party. The National Development Party, NDL. He said, I'm a young man, and what I see is that this president has done more for the Islamic community and the Mandingo community than any other leader. He's made sure that firstly Muslims go to the Hajj, that Islamic students have the reprieve now to wear hijabs in schools, that they have the right to go home on Islamic holidays and all of that. That MCSS schools should grant them those reprieve.
But the head Zoe of the Muslim women
exactly.
So they spoke at the program where they showed.
So you have So it makes no difference when you have somebody who's already in his 70s also wanting to show solidarity with a fellow septuagenarian, and they don't represent the Islamic and the Muslim community. So that's exactly what you're seeing. That's what you saw at the CDC headquarters tonight.
Okay, let's come to you.
Your parting comments.
Lord.
Okay, thank you very much to Pat. Okay, to Pat, I would like to tell the people of Moxorado and Liberia Large that NIMA is on a reawakening, movement. What happened at the first round of the election, it will be reversed definitely, and we're going to have a very great, round of election. And we are very positive that His Excellency Dr. George Manneh re-election will be heavily embraced by the people of NIMA. One of the things that we overlooked in NIMA was that most of the local governance or government officials in NIMA were inherited by this government, and we did not do anything about it. And those Unity Party guys made use of the very structure, to our disadvantage. Like the chiefs and elders you talk about, whose recommendation and appointment came through Senator Johnson, he prevailed on most of the people to ensure that they canvass against the president re-election. We noted that of late. Well, it was very late for us to, have taken any action. Right. So those things affected us, and more besides, most of our pool watchers, were exuberant first-time voters, and some of them were inexperienced when it comes to election matters. So those people took advantage of their inexperiences, and they did a lot of malpractices. The number that came from NIMA, I can tell you for sure, because I was at the target center in Senegal for Upper NIMA. The number that came from NIMA was not only the will of the people. There were a lot of manipulations.
Really?
Seriously, I have some photos in my phone where at a particular center, the record account for the representative and the senator was signed by party agent, and the record account in a same room for the presidency, there was no party agent signature. Okay, so I raised an issue, and we even complained, but our principals advised us that no sense or the all the manipulations, and the presidency came first, we should give room for the second round of the election so that we can put ourselves. But we can tell you that all the manipulation will be curtailed because we have discovered them already, and those things will not happen. And NIMA, the real vote of NIMA will show. And the 50,000 vote that came from NIMA County, just to give the information, was unprecedented. That's one. Though it was not what we expected, because when Senator Johnson joined this president in 2017, our first round president, we had got 17,000 votes. When Senator Johnson joined in 2017 runoff, you were able to come on board with 18,000 votes, amounted to 35,000. This is the first of a kind. Oh, yeah, seriously. This is the first of a kind for the CDC to get 50,000 votes from NIMA, especially at first round of the election.
Without Senator Johnson.
Senator Johnson. So with his influence, they got 35,000 votes. So without him, we were able to accumulate 50,200 plus votes. So though the figure was not enough, to have offset what the Unity Party got. But we are very sure that this coming round, the runoff, we will multiply that number and the effort will be seen. And we say thank you for the invite. And it was a pleasure sharing platform with great men of our country.
Thank you,
Mr.
George.
Fofana and Mr. Thomas.
He's a member of the media team there on the CDC Lima County Campaign Committee. Thank you so much. Let's hear from you at least 30 seconds each because Kanye Gbagbala is on our back. Oh, okay, let's hear from you. 30 seconds. Let's hear from you.
So it's been a fascinating evening, Dobbed, with great discourses. I mean, our people are being enlightened every day. And this is something, like I said, in previous times, we need to do continuously. I think what our studio guest brought today is an awakening of the people of Nimba, because these are some of the things we've tried to say. Now what we've done is we've placed a spin on the different activities in Nimba. Now there's been an enlightenment in the different areas, and people can see, and people are calling. Fortunately, today we have at least 4 callers from Nimba who made an input, all of that. So, I mean, it's getting better. Let's continue with the advocacy. Before the 14th of November, we're going to have a lot of good news. And it's a win-win for the president.
Great. So thank you so much for joining us, George, again tomorrow evening. Hopefully we'll play host to Henry Costa and on this show. Join us then. We want to say thank you again to all of you who made it your duty to participate, and those of you who didn't participate by calling, but you listen, we appreciate you. If you want President Weah to become the next president or the president in the run-off elections, you don't have to sit down there. You need to teach people how to vote, because we want to make sure that those invalid votes are not invalid,
Minimized.
during these run-off elections. Thank you so much.